The analogy I like to make to a well-organized presentation is that of a neatly wrapped present. Think about it. You look at the bow and the wrapping and you immediately want to open it up and see what's inside. Today we are going to unwrap the secrets to organizing your ideas in a presentation. Stay tuned. Hi everyone, I'm Fia Fastbinder and welcome to Moxie Talk, where we help you find your voice, share your message, and lead with confidence. Today we are talking about how to organize your ideas in a presentation. But before we jump into the video content, if you are watching me on YouTube, please make sure to press that alert button so you get notified of any new content I put out there. And if you enjoy this video, make sure to like it, share it, and subscribe to our channel. Welcome everyone to video number 2 in our Power Method series. This is the Power Method of effective presentations. Now, last video we talked about the purpose for your presentation, and today we are talking about how to organize your ideas in a presentation. Now, if you think of your presentation as a present, you'll pay close attention to the following elements that make it memorable for your audience. As I walk through these elements with you, make notes for your upcoming presentation and organize your ideas in the same way. For this to work well, the design of your presentation needs to line up all the pieces in a logical sequence. We call that the flow. You are going to connect the dots for your audience. Now, depending on the length of your presentation, you should have somewhere between 2 and 4 main points. And as you share them with your audience, in the sequence you chose, you make sure to put transitions between them so that it becomes seamless. For example, if you finish talking about point A, you wrap it up with a line that condenses the essence of point A and logically connects to point B. Give the audience a little taste of what point B is about, and then dive into the content. As you proceed to point C, briefly review the first 2 points, A and B, and then connect them to your third point, C, and dive into relating that. You're giving your audience a present. You get their attention from the get-go. You slowly unwrap your organized content to help them to take the next step. Your next step is to sketch out your own organizational flow for your presentation. We're going to think of your presentation as a journey in which you take your audience from point A to point B. Now, to take your audience to that next level, it's first necessary to map out the figurative journey. Since presentations have a narrative structure, just like stories do, start by creating an audience journey map, which is really basically a fancy word for an outline. And this audience journey map will have key milestones along the way. You first open with a bang. Now that is the first step on your audience journey map. That is your introduction. And the first few words you need to hook the audience's attention and give them a reason to keep listening to you might be the most important words in your presentation. You are going to reveal your message and what's to come. Now, that won't happen unless you can grab their attention so that they are ready, willing, and able to listen to your introduction. So you're going to spin your verbal magic. Here are 3 reasons why your audience will be interested in your introduction if you make it engaging and interesting immediately. Number 1. Audiences make value judgments about you, your organization if you're speaking for them, and your message in the first 30 to 60 seconds of a presentation. So your opening needs to start out with a bang. Reason number 2, your opening sets the entire tone of your presentation, including whether you'll be interesting or not. And number 3, the first minute is when you introduce your message and tell the audience why they need to hear it. Through your greeting, you've successfully begun a relationship with the listeners. Now, you're facing the most critical moment in your presentation, which I also think can be the most fun for you. And that's because both you and your listeners are primed for what comes next. And it all has to do with the concept of primacy and recency. And those are the speaking tools that you are going to exploit with your opening or your grabber. So primacy states that your audience retains best what they experience first. Now, everyone is focused at the start of a talk. This is where you're going to hook your audience. This is where that hook comes in, that really exciting, engaging part. And the hook has some important functions. It must engage the audience. It must pique their interest. It must surprise them, or even better, present your topic in an interesting light. And most important, speak to them where they live, tapping into who they are, how they think, and why they should care. Now, here are some examples of how to add punch to your opening of the talk. Now, punch is an acronym I use for ways to grab your audience, ways to use a hook in your introduction, ways to punch your audience in the least aggressive way. So P stands for personal, and that means you personalize your presentation by illustrating a story. You show us, you don't tell us. Stories connect us and engage us and connect us to your topic. So if you choose to open with a story, whether it's serious, humorous, dramatic, describe it in as much detail as you can so that you can personalize the content. Now, the U is for unexpected. Now, audiences love something unexpected. If you can reveal something unexpected, or do or say something that goes against what people expect, a shocking quote, a question with a surprising answer, or a statistic that goes against conventional wisdom. Now, a question either directly to the audience or to yourself makes you as the speaker less monotone. So when you use this with your introduction, use a healthy pause. Put that question out there and then pause. This will get that audience participation that you really want when you are doing your hook. Now, the N in the punch acronym stands for novel. Some examples of novel. Show or tell something that's novel or new to your audience. Now, sometimes the curse of knowledge happens where we think, everybody knows this, right? Most of the time, if it's something that was mind-blowing to you the first time you heard it, it's going to be mind-blowing to your audience too. So something novel would be to show a powerful image that's never been seen, or reveal a relevant short story that's never been heard, or a statistics from a brand new study that gives insights into a problem. Open with a quote, or a relevant statistic, or even a tagline from the morning's newspaper. Remember that your choice for an opening will have to tightly connect to your value add. So that means that you want it to connect to why the audience should care about your presentation. If you do this, you'll make sure to maintain your credibility. Now, the C in punch is for challenging. Challenge conventional wisdom or the audience's assumptions. Consider challenging their imaginations. Challenge their intellects by asking hypothetical questions that make them think. How would you like to fly to New York from Tokyo in 2 hours? Impossible? Well, some experts say it is exactly possible. Or you could do the H of the punch method, which is humorous. Use humor to engage the audience with a shared laugh. Now, there are huge benefits to adding laughter to a presentation. Laughter is contagious. Laughter connects the audiences. Laughter releases endorphins. There's an old saying that if they're laughing, they're listening. And I have a saying that never tell a joke, always tell a failure. You could literally think of dozens more of your own experiences and own expertise and ways to punch the audience. But remember, the best grabbers engage an audience immediately, both intellectually and emotionally. So coming up with that exciting hook involves some work on your part, but the rewards, if you're successful, more than justify the effort. So the next step on our audience journey map, after we've done our grabber or introduction, is the call to adventure. Now, this is the moment when you are going to tell your audience about the journey you'll be taking together and how you'll get there. Another metaphor you may prefer is a blueprint of the presentation or the speech, which shows how it all fits together. The call to adventure is the speech element which a majority of speakers leave out. Again, they're more concerned with delivering content and forget to share why it should matter to this audience. Basically, it could be as simple as, these are the specific points I'll be discussing in this talk today, and the reason I want to share this with you today is fill in the blank. Isn't it more effective to tell people how what you'll be saying will benefit them or make their life easier or provide a solution than just hop into some boring slide that reads agenda? So most people consider the call to adventure to be a moxified agenda. So make sure with this call to adventure, again, that you are showing your audience why they should care about the topic. So the most engaging speakers do a superb job of very quickly introducing the topic, explaining why the audience should care about it, and convincing them that they should care too. Then thinking of inviting the audience on that journey. All right, the next step on our audience journey map, once we have created our hook or our grabber, and we've created our call to adventure, is the body of our presentation. And we like to think of the body of our presentation in 3 categories that can be used to support our message. Now, you're probably asking, why 3? Well, classic storytelling structure was in 3. Aristotle's dramatic acts were in 3. Classic comedy is funny with 3. And people's attention spans are way too short to go past 3 sections. So when we organize a presentation into 3 sections that all support our message while taking people on a journey, then we've created an engaging presentation. And we like to think of those 3 categories as literal stepstones that you are going to take your audience's hand and you're leading them maybe over a river or across a lake on these 3 stepstones from side 1 to side 2. And this is part of your audience journey map. Now, there are several different templates you can use to organize these 3 stepstones. And I am going to give you just a few of them. If you're interested in more, I would love for you to take our Write with Power workshop. Here are a few that you can use, a few that I have found to be really successful. You can use stepstone 1 is the problem, stepstone 2 is the solution, stepstone 3 is the benefit. Or you could use what, why, how, or you could use past, present, future, or you could write solution, benefit, context to solution, or you could do problem, solution, your solution. So there are so many different ways to organize your ideas in the body to make it in 3 stepstones that are literally leading your audience across this lake from one side to the next. Now, once you have created your introduction, created your audience journey map, and created those 3 stepstones that are going to make up the beginning, you are ready to do your conclusion. Now, for your conclusion, your first point is going to take it back to the beginning and remind the audience of the why. Then you are going to spend a little time quickly summarizing up or recapping your presentation. We have a saying that in a presentation, you tell them what you're going to talk about, you talk about it, and then you tell them what you talked about. So this is the tell them what you talked about part. And then last but not least, you're going to end with a clincher. And a clincher is just like your punch in the beginning. Remember we talked about primacy and recency? Well, recency is that people remember what they heard last. So this is the end of your presentation, and this is a great place to leave them with something memorable. And any of the ideas you use for that punch acronym will work as a clincher too. You could tell a different story. You could start a story in your hook and end it in your clincher. You could use a quote. You could say something novel. There are so many different ways to make your audience remember the end of your presentation, but any one of those punch ideas will work. Now, the last step in our conclusion is our call to action. Now, remember, the best presentations bring about change. So help the audience understand how they can be part of the solution. Whether this is a presentation to a board meeting, a TED Talk, a town hall meeting, you want to leave your audience feeling something positive, feeling something powerful, and feeling like they can be part of the solution. And you also want to make your call to action specific. So a good call to action helps the audience understand how they can be part of the solution, how they can act on your presentation, how they can bring about change. It's not a pep rally. It's just a little bit of specific inspiration or specific call to action, plan of action. It could be something like, the next time you see blank, remember to do blank. Or it could be something like, you can be part of the solution by doing blank. Or turn to your partner and tell them how you are going to do blank. So it's something that they really can act upon. You are harnessing action in your call to action. So, in your conclusion, you want to make sure that you have, at the beginning, you're going to bring it back to the beginning in your conclusion, remind them of the why. Then you're going to briefly recap or summarize the main points of your presentation. Then you're going to use a clincher, something to make sure your presentation is sticky, and then you're going to end with your call to action. And voila, you have now organized all of your ideas into an audience journey map, which is really just a glorified outline to make sure that you create a presentation that is engaging and powerful. So, if you liked this video, please make sure to like it, subscribe to our channel, and keep watching for more Moxie content. Next time, we will be talking about the W in the power method, which is right for the ear and not the eye. Until next time, make sure to lead brilliantly, live boldly, and speak with Moxie.